Hello everyone, welcome back to another Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer battle. This is going to be the edgy elves versus the forces of the Empire. For my army, I'll go over the ground forces first. I have splurged a little bit on 2 Harganeth Executioners, a unit that I don't usually bring, just because I think I explained this in the last video. These are one of those elite units that are very expensive, but they are really good at what they do, and what they do is kill armored or just generic infantry troops very well. Now I'm in like a 1v1 fight between the Swordmasters of Hoeth, which is something else that's kind of in their class. I believe the Swordmasters of Hoeth should win in a 1v1 until the Harganeth Executioner's Murder Mastery procs, when, this little bar is filled because so many people have died. Then when that procs, I believe the Harganeth Executioner should kind of take the momentum and just kill the Swordmasters of Hoeth as long as that procs. Before that, though, I'm pretty sure they die because of the martial mastery of the Swordmasters of Hoeth. It just gives them better stats. But yeah, so like halfway through the battle, though, these will swing into the favor of the Harganeth. Anyway, the thing with the elite units is that if they get killed by artillery or any kind of gunfire or something before they get into combat, then it's just a big waste of money. But I thought, why not? Let's splurge a little bit. Let's bring 2 of them. So you have 2 infantry killers. Speaking about infantry killers, I also have one of the Blackguard Corsairs, which are not on the same tier as a Harganeth Executioner, but they are still pretty good for the price with their anti-infantry and decent armor as well. I also have 2 spearmen, 1 on each side, just to support the flanks against any cav charges or just to whip around the enemy flanks if I need them. And then tucked in the middle here are the Witch Elves, which are the berserking, poison, rampaging, crazy cool unit of the Dark Elves. So you got to really be careful about these. Any unit that they touch in combat is going to start rampaging, or at least has a chance to rampage, including lords and heroes. So you need to really be mindful where you're landing your lords, where you're putting your lords and heroes in when you have Witch Elves on the field against you. Because if they get on your lord or hero, they will lock them down, and your lord and hero will probably die. Because usually when Witch Elves are involved, there is a strategy of that player to be mindful of where they are, what they're doing, and try and isolate and destroy anything that they touch. So you gotta be careful about them. They're a really good unit. Really, really cool. But my main power is going to be in the Air Force here. I have a group of 3 Harpies, 1 hanging out with our Lord over here, and 2 out here in Vanguard deployment to deal with any artillery or ranged units, whatever I needed to deal with. I really like Harpies because they can fly over anything, really. Then we also brought the Renowned units here, the Raven Heralds. I don't think I've ever actually used them before, but they have very high missile piercing damage. The thing is, or armor piercing, they have very low ammunition. They are very squishy, so you need to be very careful about how you use them, so I'm going to give them a shot here today. Then we also have a Black Dragon guarding Mama Morathi. So Mama Morathi, I think, is one of the Dark Elf lores that kind of gets overlooked a lot, but I think she's still really cool. The thing is, though, you have Malekith, who's like even more edgier than she is, and he's all like, oh, I got all these unique spells. But I think she's still pretty sweet. Because of a couple things. One, she does have a bonus versus large, which I think is very nice, so it increases her melee attack to plus 15 on top of the 55, bringing her up to a 70 melee attack against any large creature, which most lords and heroes you fight are going to be mounted on something, or are large inherently. So I think Morathi is pretty good there. Her defense is not that great. I'm not calling her like a really good dueler because she also has only a 40 in armor and a 40 in melee defense. Kind of leads to you not being the best or the most durable. She also kind of has a low hit point. So again, she's not a duelist. But offensively speaking, I think she is pretty cool. She's armor piercing focus and like I said, the bonus versus large. On top of that, though, she is still a spellcaster of the lore of the dark. So what that gives her is access to the where is it? Soul Stealer. So if she's dueling a lord, she can cast the Soul Stealer, and she would be sapping their hit points and giving them to herself. So she's actually she's more tankier than you might think just by looking at her hit points, her armor, and her melee defense. And she hits a little bit harder because, she has that armor piercing focus, while all on just a Hellsteed? Dark Pegasus? I forget what these mounts are called. This is like the fast mount choice for the Dark Elves. So what's really cool about that is that whenever you mount a lord or hero on one of these, like let's take our enemy, for example. So Boris Todbringer decided to mount a Pegasus instead of the Griffin. So on the Pegasus, Boris Todbringer doesn't really have an armor-piercing focused attack at all. It's just a dude on a horse, basically. Still pretty high weapon strength, but not armor-piercing focus, which is what you're really looking for. Now, the thing is, the trade-off is that you get a lot of speed on a Pegasus, but you don't get that armor-piercing damage as you get like with on a Griffin, but you also do keep your melee and defensive stats. So you'll probably notice, I can't show it here, but when you're on a Griffin, I think your melee attack is down to like a 45-ish or something like that. It gets nerfed a little bit, but the thing is you hit harder, you have a high charge bonus, so you're still really good in duels. But The thing is, so like he doesn't have any armor piercing damage on that thing. But on this fast mount, this Dark Pegasus, she still gets to keep her armor piercing and anti-large, which I think is really cool because not many lords have armor piercing and like anti-large while on like one of these fast steeds. You mostly gain your armor piercing damage lords while they're on something like, let's say, a black dragon or any of the other dragons for the high elves or something like that. So I think that's really unique that she is a very fast mover, anti-large, and armor piercing focused while on a very fast mount. I think that's pretty cool, and there's something to be said about that. But anyway, she's still a spellcaster, so I don't know, I'm talking a lot, but that's what I do in these videos. So she has Soul Stealer, so again, that makes her more durable. She also has the Power of Darkness, which I think is a really cool power of the Lore of Dark. So you sap that on one of your units. It doesn't really damage your units that much, but it also is going to shoot up your power reserves and power recharge rate by a lot. So you can use that extra power to, I don't know, cast this some more on more units and keep Morathi alive even longer. On top of that, we also bring Soul Blight, because I think Soul Blight is just a really good generic debuff to enemy soldiers in a very wide area. She also has the Heart Render and the Dark Sword. So this is going to lower units' melee defense and attack by 9, which is pretty huge at all times. This is not something that's just temporarily on. This isn't a spell. It's just she has it on at all times, which you can actually also stack with, do the Witch Elves have the, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of theory crafting here. Do these have the melee defense? Yeah, so the poison will rampage them and also lower their melee defense by 20%, but I think it's the other elves, I can't remember their name, they're the more expensive ones that also are practically naked and they have like a small shield and a whip. I think their poison damage also lowers melee attack by 9-ish, so you can kind of actually pair them with Morathi and lower a unit's melee attack by 18, which is insane. I'm pretty sure, maybe I'll look after the battle, but anyway. So she also has the Enchanting Beauty, which lowers your melee attack by another 9, not percent, but just 9. So couple that with this one, that is a minus 18 melee attack to all units around her, which then increases her survivability a little bit more because, well, a unit has a minus 18 when fighting against her or near her. So like, let's take Boris Todbringer. So without his charge bonus, that brings his melee attack down to a 42 against her now 40 melee defense. So now that's a little bit more even, so she won't be hit as much in duels, even with against lords that have a higher melee attack. Now, if Boris had also a bonus versus large, it still helps, but like she would still probably get destroyed. But anyway, sorry, I'm just trying to show you Morathi because she's not really brought that often, and this is one of the first times I think I bring her, so I kind of want to do a deep dive on what she can do in her capabilities. Anyway, so on top of that, since she casts both Lore of Dark and Death, she also gets their passives. So we have the Spiteful Conjuration, which lowers armor of the entire enemy army for 18 seconds when she casts a Dark spell. I don't believe both passives proc. You know what? I don't know. Like, I don't know if we cast like a Lore of Dark spell, if that's going to proc the Lore of Death passive. But it does just say active casting. I mean, I guess it does, right? I guess I never really thought about it that way. Anyway, she has both passives because she can cast spells from both lores. All right, that's enough about Morathi and how and why I think she's pretty cool. For the Empire Army, sorry, I know, long intro, but it's one of the first times I'm bringing her, so I want to kind of show you why she's cool. So for the Empire Army here, we have 2 Outriders, which are pretty good. As long as you can keep them in a position where they can fire at whatever you want them to fire at, and they're not being, let's say, chased by harpies. Not saying that's going to happen. But they are still, honestly, really good. I think they're pretty good for the price. They're very mobile riflemen that do really good damage, and they have Vanguard deployment. And again, they're very mobile. Speed of 84. It's hard to catch them. So they can just kind of redeploy, reposition behind enemy line, or behind their own lines, and just go pew, 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 all day long if you don't chase them with harpies. For the rest of our ground forces down here, we also have 3 spearmen, sorry. We have one right here behind the Bright Wizard, and then run back here. We have one of these Sigmar Sons, because you can only get one. These are the ones that are unbreakable. Swordsmen, they are slightly better stats than normal swordsmen, and of course, unbreakable. We also have these Silver Bullets, which are going to be stalking, and I think just a very solid rifleman unit to always be bringing. Also, the Tattersouls, which are a slightly more durable flagellant group, has also been brought. We have a Reichsguard sitting back here. We also have 2 Demigryph Knights with halberds, one right here, one way over there. For the Bright Wizard, he brought a Fireball as well as both of the buff spells, and we've already been over Boris Todbringer on his Pegasus, and I think that is going to be it for the armies. We all know what Boris does. We all know what all these things do. We've seen the Empire for years and years. Alright, so let's get this battle started. Now, you're going to notice I'm going to strategically leave the Raven Heralds behind so they don't get hit by the Outriders at all. So that's why they're back here and not moving at all, okay? They're just being strategically left behind there. Over here, I want to try and see if we can hit Boris Todbringer with the duel here with our Black Dragon and try and pin him down with the Harpies. So, the initial thing here is to try and pin him with the Harpies, right? I didn't actually expect him to go all in right here, because there's also a Black Dragon, and we also have Morathi. Maybe he doesn't respect Morathi and the dragon, And also what I think what is happening here is that this is when I discovered the silver bullets and I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of damage. And also you're going to notice that they're bringing the crossbows up. Excuse me, I had to... Anyway. And then they also had the Outriders right here. So I think the plan and why they accepted this was because they thought that they can lure Morathi out and just murder her instantly with the Outriders, the silver bullets, and the crossbows just firing into here as Boris tanked. But like, look how fast Boris is dying. Not necessarily just to Morathi, she's helping. Because now his stats are lowered down to the 42 and the 46 there, respectively, because of her abilities. But also the dragon is here, and, you know, they hit very, very, very hard. So we're just going to kind of chew through Boris very quickly before these can even really get in position. They get one salvo off, but Boris is already retreating. I'm going to chase him down with Morathi. You can see that we also have the Soul Stealer cast on him, so we're draining his life. So we're getting some life that way. Meanwhile, the Harpies are over here chasing these Outriders. I'm bringing out my other two Harpies, and I think I'm going to stick one Harpy on each one of these units, and the other Harpy I think goes... I can't remember where the other Harpy goes. But anyway, we landed the Black Dragon down into the Silver Bullets. This is when the Demigryph Knights are going to pounce on us. We're going to try and charge them with the Hargoneth Executioners and the Witch Elves. And again, the Witch Elves are going to be able to poison these Demigryph Knights and pin them in place. Unfortunately, I'm doing some micromanaging back here to make sure that we chase Boris Topbringer out of the map and also try and pin down these Outriders. So I kind of let the Black Dragon sit here, fighting the anti-large Demigryph Knights for a little while. A little bit longer than you probably want, but there we go. The Witch Elves proc the Rampage, and the Demigryph Knights cannot move any longer, and I should be getting the Dragon out of here soon. But the thing is, like, the Hargoneth Executioners, they may be anti-infantry, but they're still getting a lot of good hits on these Demigryph Knights along with the Dragon. So these Demigryph Knights are just getting torn to pieces, and they can't move. They just can't. So there we go. We're finally going to get the Black Dragon out of there. The two Outriders back here are going to be dealing with two of my Harpies, and because I've pinned them in the forest. Morathi is now going to be coming back because she has now just chased Boris Topbringer off of the map, so she's now going to come back into the fight. Black Dragon did a lot of good damage to the Silver Bullets, did a lot of good damage to the Demigryph Knights. These are going to come back from routing over here. And I'm still strategically leaving my Heralds back here. They'll get into the fight here soon. Meanwhile, the second Demigryph Knight is getting pulled over here to try and save the Outriders. And I believe the Reichsguard is going to peel off here and also try and kill my Harpies again to save the Outriders. The Outriders are going to be coming out, I believe, this way. One of my other Harpies is coming back online because I think they routed. Oh no, there they are. So they're going to be coming back from routing about like right here, so I can stick them back into the battle. Meanwhile, the infantry fight is going really well. We're sticking our Black Dragon onto this Bright Wizard and just tearing him to pieces. The Hargoneth Executioners had no resistance. There is nothing on the ground here that can stop the Hargoneth Executioners, especially like look at their stats right now with the Murder Mastery. Like it's kind of insane. Let's actually show you what buffs they get here. So we're looking at an additional charge bonus, additional leadership, so they are not breaking. They will fight to the bitter end. The melee attack is plus 18%. Yeah, and then their vigor is going to be increased, and now they can also cause fear. So, like, they are very scary when that thing procs. And they're just chewing through the Sigmar Suns, who are also hit with the Dragon Breath earlier, so they were already almost dead by that. And again, like, they just have nothing to stop our Hargoneth Executioners. And on top of that, we still have the Witch Elves are really looking good. The Dread Spears are still fine, who are now currently fighting against some Tighter Souls and some Spearmen over here. We're now chasing off the rest of leadership with Morathi and the Black Dragon. I think I peeled the Black Dragon to... Actually, I don't remember what I do with the Black Dragon, I'm going to be honest. We'll see what they do. Anyway, the Outriders have been freed from the Harpies because of the Demigryph Knights and the Reichsguard over here. But now I'm going to be shooting the Demigryph Knights and the Reichsguard with our Raven Heralds right here. Finally getting them out of the reserves, which is what they were doing. Totally not forgotten about. The Black Dragon is going to sit here trying to finish off these Demigryph Knights. Meanwhile, their friend Knights are still over here just getting shot at by the Heralds there. I have Morathi. Oh, I guess I'll pull Morathi off to try and help finish the Demigryph Knights as well, because again, she is anti-large, but now I'm going to stick her back onto the Bright Wizard, who is trying to cast fireballs at us, so I'm going to try and get their leadership out of this fight. Meanwhile, like, there's really not much left. We saw the Tower Souls because they're unbreakable. We also have Spearmen because they were just out of the fight for so long, but now the Witch Elves are coming in, the Hargoneth Executioners are coming in, at least one of them. The other Hargoneth Executioners chasing off these Spearmen. We have these Outriders, but I was kind of dodging their bullets with the, from the Black Dragon. Where's the other Outrider at? I think they're... I'm not sure where they are. But anyway, these two groups of Knights are getting shot in the back by the very high armor-piercing damage from the Heralds, doing a lot of good damage. Nice recharge here on our Witch Elves and our Hargoneth Executioners, but we still have a Black Dragon who I may breathe on them here. There we go. We got another Dragon Breath, doing okay damage there, but it is going to help break their morale, and Morathi has now shattered the Fire, or the Bright Wizard way out there. There were the other Outriders. They were over there shooting into Hargoneth Executioners, and that is going to be... that's going to be a GG. The Tower Souls, the only thing left remaining, and they are dealing with some very edgy elves right now. Oh, so that is going to be a good game. I think the explanation of Morathi maybe took longer than the actual match. I'm sorry, but again, I brought her for the first time now, and because honestly, I didn't really respect her that much either, because I was like, why pick her? You can just pick Malekith. He's better because he has all those other cool abilities, because like the chill breath or I forget what the breath's called, but he has like a breath weapon and the vortex thing that with all the swords and shit because he's edgy. But I think she's actually pretty cool. I kind of like Morathi, and I'll try and incorporate her into some more Dark Elf builds, especially with her other units, which we'll look at here in a moment. Because remember, she has a minus 18 melee attack just by herself, and minus 9 melee defense too. So we'll keep that in mind. But anyway, as far as the Battle of the thing goes, the Harkness Executioners, again, they had nothing that could stop them. They had literally nothing that could stop them. When I took out the Silver Bullets, I had the Outriders running from the Harpies like the entire match, and those were really the only units that could stop the Harkness Executioners. They're good tools against Harkness Executioners if they're allowed to fire, which I did not allow them to because I brought so many Harpies for just that reason. The Reichsguard got a lot of kills, I think mostly against the Harpies they were fighting in the forest, and maybe some kills against the Witch Elves, I think, in the rear charge, which was a good rear charge. The Sigmar Sons just got breath weaponed by the Dragon, which honestly took out most of their hit points, and then the Harkness Executioners finished the job. Boris, he survived, I don't know, what was that, like 10 seconds against the Black Dragon and Morathi? Like, he just fell so quickly. Again, I think their plan was to shoot Morathi or the Dragon, I'm not entirely sure with the double Outriders, the Silver Bullets, and the crossbows. And that would do it. Like, that's a ton of damage to take, especially from Morathi, who has kind of low hit points. So that probably would have brought her down pretty low. Unfortunately, I just had the Harpies there, and Boris just couldn't tank for more than 10 seconds against the Dragon and Morathi. He was all like, oh, I'm the Deathbringer, because that's what top... Anyway. And then we brought that to him, and he was like, oh, shit, I better run. But anyway, good game to Marcel. And before we watch the cinematic view, let me just take a look at those other units that I mentioned earlier. I can't even remember their names because I don't use Dark Elves that often. These people, Sisters of Slaughter, which I think are also a really good unit. Oh no, they just have basic poison. Oh, okay. Wait, what's this? Oh, okay. And if they are losing, this will recharge and grants themselves plus 9 melee attack. I thought they had a debuff. But I guess I was thinking of the Trial Blaze, which is actually a self buff to them. Huh? Does any of these give? Huh? I don't know what I was thinking of then. I thought one of these units, either the Renown or these Sisters of Slaughter, gave some kind of debuff to people around them. I mean, poison is still a debuff. It's a very nice debuff. It lowers damage of the enemy units, so it's still pretty cool. Anyway, let's go watch a cinematic view of that battle. The Corsairs look really cool in their edginess. These guys, I like the look of their swords. I don't know if I really dig the faceplate. I still can't believe Boris charged into this. I don't know if this player really understood how strong dragons are, and especially not Morathi. Which, you know, I can't blame them. You look at Morathi, you're like, oh, she's just a caster or whatever. She's like about the Dark Elf. Nope, she is not about the Dark Elf. That is for sure. She is a vengeful mama. Casting Soul Stealer on him. Like, honestly, I think the dragon probably killed him before she really even got there. But she got there and then cast Soul Stealer immediately, and he was running. And then we dodged the fireball just by flying forward. They're gonna go off and have some fun. And then here come the Dimmies. More Dimmies. I'm gonna pin these in place. I should have got the dragon out of there a lot sooner. That is not where the dragon wants to be. Should be seeing a breath weapon coming down here soon. There it is. Oh! That really hurt the Sigmar Sons. I mean, they weren't going to live through this anyway, but that really hastened their death. bunch of basically naked dudes with clubs versus Argonath executioners. I wonder who wins this fight. Really, this is the only fighting really happening, because, like, Morathi's chasing people at this point, so is the dragon, I think. Oh, is that the recharge for Ice card? Oh, there we go. Forgot about that. Oh, they're gone. That was a pretty good rear charge, though. Jesus. Well, that's a way to finish. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you all next time. Take care.